All right. Good morning, everyone. As you all know, I'm Kareem Banks. And today I'm just going to give you a quick recap on yesterday's NFL games. Want to start out, feel really, really good. Really, really, really good, actually. Um, Always feel that way after a win, particularly in the fashion and the way we kind of pounded that rock a little bit for the first time in a couple years. But we'll get to that in a minute. But let's go through the games and we'll see what we came up with. Yesterday I went 6-8 against the spread. Uh, Not too good, but we'll get better as the season goes on. Let's start out Houston at New York. I took the Giants. Listen, give credit where credit is due. The Giants came out, they executed. Maybe that Bob McAdoo, or Ben McAdoo, whatever the hell his name is. Maybe that offensive scheme is starting to pick up because he put up 30 spot on pretty good defense. So you got to give kudos to the New York Football Giants. Absolutely. Oakland at New England. The Raiders. Like I said, I thought they would hang with them. I thought there'd be a little more scoring in this game, 16-9. Nevertheless, they hung in there with the 14 points. The Patriots, very sluggish on offense. Gronkowski scored a touchdown, so that helped me out in fantasy. But nevertheless, Pats got the win. San Diego, they went out, traveled east, knocked off Buffalo 22-10. Story of the game, Bills just not able to manufacture any points. San Diego's defense is actually pretty good. They're playing pretty good up to this point. Um, Eventually, I think they're going to turn on EJ Manuel, by the way. Dallas at St. Louis. St. Louis, this is terrible. They were up 21-0 in this one. Ended up dropping a 34-31 decision to the Cowboys. Listen, give Dallas credit. They hung in there. They made the necessary plays. Although the Rams defense, I'm not sure what's going on out there. They were supposed to have one of the better defenses in football. Dez Bryant is all alone. I could have done a better job in covering Dez Bryant in that particular play. But nevertheless, give the Cowboys credit. They came back. They got the W. That's all that matters. Excellent game out at the link. Correct myself from yesterday. The Eagles pulled it off 37-34 over a very good Washington team. I want to say this. I think we've seen the last of RG3. Kirk Cousins, 427 yards passing. I know Philly's defense isn't exactly the 85 Bears, but nevertheless, they're good. The offense in Washington just looks so much more fluid than it did when RG3 was under snap. I think we've seen the last of them. I think they're going to ship him out of there. They're not going to pay him all that money to be Cousins' backup. But maybe a possible landing spot for RG3, maybe St. Louis. But then again, they don't want to go through that injury history given what they have in Sam Bradford. Or maybe even Buffalo, because like I said, I think they're going to turn on EJ Manuel and get him out of there. So again, we've seen the last of RG3 in Washington. But let's give kudos to the Eagles. They dropped 37 spot. Nick Foles played well. The defense played just enough in the end to get it done. Good NFC division win for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Colts and the Jaguars. Jacksonville's probably the worst team in football right now. They drop a 44-17 decision to the Colts. Luck, 4 touchdown passes. He made it look too easy out there. But bright spot, they're going to put Blake Bortles in there. They're going to give the rookie his shot. And from my understanding, he's going to start next week. So maybe things will look up for those Jacksonville Jaguars. Minnesota, New Orleans. Like I said on yesterday's cast, I thought that Minnesota would keep it close. They didn't cover. They lost by 11. They were given 10. I thought they'd score more points than they did against that New Orleans defense, dropping a 20-9 decision. Castle's done for the year. Well, more than likely done for the year. So we're going to get to see the kid Bridgewater, see what he can do. Maybe him and Cordell Patterson can hook up and build some type of rapport out there and get something done for the Minnesota Vikings. But nevertheless, they drop a 20-9 decision in New Orleans. Tennessee at Cincinnati. Listen, like I said yesterday, Cincinnati is a solid football team. They're really, really good at this point. I thought Tennessee would give a little bit of fight, given the circumstances surrounding their kicker. I thought they maybe go out and win one for the Gipper, so to speak, but didn't happen. Cincinnati just pounded them 33-7. Hey, Baltimore, Cleveland. Baltimore gets a win in Cleveland, 23-21. I mean, what can I say? I was wrong on that one. The Browns coughed that game up. I thought they'd hang on and get the win. But give the Ravens credit. Joe Flacco made a big throw at the end. Him and Steve Smith, I think, are building a very, very good tandem out there. I like to see Torrey Smith get a little more involved out there. But nevertheless, the Baltimore football Ravens get a key road division win at Cleveland. They're now, I believe, 2-1 in the division. So that's a big, big win for the Baltimore football Ravens. Ravens and my homeboy Mel Moore. Give a little shout out. Packers, the Green Bay Packers. Hey, what can I say? They went out to Detroit. I thought they'd score more points. Give the Lions credit. 19-7. They kept Aaron Rodgers in check. He wasn't able to throw the ball all over the lot like he normally does against that Detroit defense. They showed a little pride on the home field. They stood up. They took advantage of some Norris points. We'll talk about Norris points a little bit later. That's a word that you'll hear me use. Stands for non-offensive related scores. That was key in this Detroit win over the Green Bay Packers. San Francisco dropped a 23-14 decision at Arizona. Listen, man, the Niners are off to a 1-2 start. They're a little shaky. And I'm hearing a lot of rumblings out there. Harbaugh might be losing the locker room, things of that nature. They didn't look too good out there. Now, the Cards, they have a nasty defense out there. Even though they lost a couple guys, Dockett, forget someone else, but they still got a pretty nasty defense out there in Arizona. They're not going to be an easy out, I'll tell you that right now. Especially when they get and keep in mind, they're doing this without Carson Palmer. They're doing it with Drew Stanton, a guy I don't think is thrown prior to the season, thrown a pass in the regular season in a couple of years. So kudos to the Cards. Nice win over San Francisco. I mean, Kaepernick, he's got to get it together, man. He's got a new contract out there. He needs to put up some more points and get this 49ers offense rolling. Maybe give Frank Gore the ball a little bit more. I only had 1 point from Frank Gore on my fantasy squad. All right. Broncos at Seahawks. It was an excellent game. I watched this actually start to finish. I mean, I switched back and forth a little bit between breaks with the 49ers and Cards, but listen, I was dead wrong on this one. Seattle pretty much kept these guys in check for the most part. Denver got back into the game on a big turnover late in the game. Peyton, I think he had 58 seconds, drove down the field and got a touchdown to put it into overtime, but Russell Wilson able to seal the deal in overtime. Didn't give Peyton a chance. 26-20 Seahawks over Broncos. I still think Denver, nothing to worry about. Seattle is just better than Denver, I think, at this point. I think we can all agree on that. So nothing to hold your heads low, but they're just a better team. I don't think you match up well against Seattle. But nevertheless, Denver will be all right. Chiefs go into Miami, into that hot weather, humid weather down in Miami, and drop a 34 spot on the Dolphins, 34-15. I was wrong on that one. Miami just didn't show up this game. I didn't watch too much of this game, so I don't really have much to report on it, other than the Chiefs won. So I guess we'll just move on. Pittsburgh. What can I say? We'll spend a little time on my guys. Listen, what can I say? 37-19 went at Carolina. We run the ball, both running backs, Bell and Blunt, over 100 yards in this game. I can't tell you the last time Pittsburgh has done that. The defense looked much better. I know Cam is hurting. We gave him a couple licks, but he's not himself. But nevertheless, the defense did look a little bit better. We lost Ike Taylor. I think he's done for the year. Broke his forearm out there, so we're gonna need a little secondary help. Shazier, he had a little knee incident. I hope that's not a big deal. And Jarvis Jones had a wrist injury. So again, that's to be determined. But what can I say about my guys? I mean, Antonio Brown is again just developing into the premier receiver in football. Yes, I said in football. I know there's Calvin Johnson. I know there's A.J. Green, all those other jokers out there. Antonio Brown is a beast, and I've been saying that for some time now. And you will respect Antonio Brown. 2 touchdown catches, been efficient, didn't turn the ball over, which is key, and the Steelers defense forced the turnover, which is key. And got some help from some Norris points. That was a key situation late in the game. Carolina got a little momentum after they scored the touchdown, but the special teams came up with a key Norris touchdown to sort of seal the game at that point. And that's pretty much it. We got the Bears and Jets tonight. Again, I took the Bears in this one, and I'll still stand by that. Again, we'll see what Geno can do on the big stage on Monday night. But, I went 6-8. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Like I do have a channel. Next week, I'll give you my week 4 picks.